Hello.
Hi, Mom.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Good morning, and good morning.
Hi. Oh, my gosh. What an exciting
Well,
week
one
in
for each
your
of you.
life.
I know. I cannot wait. I'm jumping out of my skin. I'm so excited.
So for anyone who's listening and jumping in on this podcast, this After the Show podcast, Candace is my cousin, and your son, James, has been away in the Marine Corps.
Still is in San Diego right
Yeah,
now,
he
right?
is.
Boot camp?
Yes, MCRD San Diego at boot camp. That's right.
And he graduates this week, and you'll be there.
On Friday. I will be there with a big banner and a obnoxious homemade T-shirt with his name and all that good stuff on it, his platoon
sweet.
and everything.
You know, he had Liberty Sunday yesterday where he called, he had a phone, he had pizza, he had Red Bulls, and he had time
Honey
to
bun.
call
Yeah.
and a honey bun. And he called everybody, and I did not expect him to call me, and he called me. And it was so exciting.
Yeah, he was,
I mean, did he call you first? Do you know? Or
yeah,
his
he called me
grandfather?
first.
Mom is always the
Mom
first
first.
call. Yeah.
Then grandpa, right?
Yes, Grandpa got
dad.
a call. Yep, his aunt got a call, and
Wonderful.
then you guys got a call.
So
His
exciting.
cousins got calls, and the girlfriend, of course. Excuse me, the girlfriend I think was the second call after Mom.
Oh,
She got a
yeah,
call
yeah.
as well. Yeah.
You know, the order doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I feel like I expected him to seem different to me, but he didn't. He just seemed excited in James.
Yeah. I agree.
He
Same
did,
thing.
and I
I was going
Go
to say
ahead.
same thing, here because for one thing, he's just the sweetest person in the world. Honestly, he was telling us how much that he loves us, and we told him the same, how much we love him, and missed him at Christmas. But I was expecting I don't know what kind of transformation I was expecting to happen because they're so regimented in that time period. But he's totally himself.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's different now because he's past the crucible. So the crucible is kind of that final test, right, to where they officially become Marines. So they go from recruits to Marines. So I got a couple of calls from him when he was in boot camp, and there was a couple of times where he sounded, his throat was really hoarse. There's a lot of yelling
Yeah,
in boot
right.
camp. So his throat was kind of hoarse, and he sounded a little tired and maybe not quite himself. So I think now that he's past that,
Yes.
and now that they've had some free time on the base, I think he's a little more himself, and he's excited for graduation and all that. So
Yeah. Okay,
I think
so
the big transformation is physical. He asked me to bring some clothes, but also a belt because he said he's lost about 20 pounds. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Man.
Wow. Okay.
right, that picture of him, and there's a banner out. There's a congratulations, welcome home banner in your front yard right now with a picture of him. It's the most serious picture we've ever seen of him.
I know.
And rightly so.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what I thought
A lot less hair.
a lot, yeah. And he's got great hair. When he grows his hair out, it's curly
he
and
used to have a lot of hair.
fantastic.
Yeah.
But he looks great with the buzz. So
Yep.
what I wanted to know is from your mom perspective, single mom, he goes off. What was your support? What was it like for you? What are your thoughts? What was it like?
Yeah, so I think the start of it was a little bit unexpected. So he had kind of tossed around the idea of the military a little bit, here and there, and we had talked about it. But when he had actually made the decision, he had already gone to the recruiter and everything before he told me. And he actually said that he was kind of nervous to tell me.
Right.
I don't know what he thought my reaction was going to be, but we talked about it, and I told him, of course, I said, son, I love you. I support you. Any decision you make, of course, I'm going to support you. And the fact that he's a legacy, my dad was also in the Marines,
Yeah.
Yes.
actually in San Diego as well, at the very same
Base.
Facility base. Yeah.
where James is. I think is really cool
I do too.
that he's kind of carrying out that legacy. So, when he was home after high school and did a little community college and things like that, but I didn't, it's not like college where you kind of, they're going away, you go visit schools and you look at Storm and you go and, you know what I mean? So it was kind of a surprise, but I have to say there's quite a lot of support for families and parents for Marines in boot camp. There's a great Facebook group with moms of previous recruits or current Marines who have been through boot camp. And so they update the Facebook page literally every day, and they tell you kind of what your Marine is doing, and they give you a countdown to graduation, and don't worry if you don't hear from them because they're working hard and this is what they're doing. And they give you kind of a matrix so you can kind of follow like what their training is from week to week.
Right. I know you
so
had sent
that has been a huge help.
You had sent the family, you'd sent us a text during the Crucible that, we understand that nobody was injured and we know that everybody made it through. So at least, and I'm thinking, how do you know that? How do moms know that, what's going on the base? But you're saying this is because they've been through it before, not because they're with your group of recruits.
Right, and I guess they are getting some real-time information from the base of what currently is happening, because they are kind of giving us information. So I'm not sure exactly how all of that works, but they are getting information from the current recruits in whatever platoon, whatever company that they're in. They are getting some real-time information about what's happening. So they are pulling on their past experience and kind of what helped them through. But it's also been good because they say, letters might slow down this week because this is happening, or make sure not to send this or not to say that, or, make sure, try to stay positive. And so they give a lot of tips about
that is invaluable.
Things to do.
I mean, you wouldn't know otherwise.
I would not have known how to navigate any of this. I can't talk enough about that group. It's been such a huge support. And there's been a lot of updates. There's another app where I can send letters directly to him, and he gets them the next day. And they also, just incredible. So they can, they also update on what's happening on the base week to week, and it's from some of the drill instructors. And so they're letting us know kind of what's happening with the recruits and, what's going on week to week and what kind of training they're engaged in, and that, giving us timelines and things like that. So I feel very connected to, every kind of step of the way that he's been through. So that's really helped me through quite a lot.
I have a mom sort of question. Will you see him in San Diego before, or you will not see him until he's in that uniform graduating?
I will get to see him before.
Oh.
So the way they do it is kind of a 3-day event. So the first day is a meet and greet. So I get to actually meet his drill instructors. I get to meet the people that have been working with him for the past 6 weeks. Yeah, so I get to interact with them. And I found out that James was actually the scribe for his platoon. And so he's actually worked pretty closely with the drill instructors.
I bet he raised his hand and volunteered for that, if we know James well.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works. I don't know if he volunteers or if he's selected for that. Right. I'd say you guys have gotten letters from him, so maybe his penmanship leaves a little bit to be desired.
I love that.
He's what they call a cyber scribe. So he actually uses the laptop. So he will type things in if they need, Word documents or Google Docs and things like that. So he's the only one that's allowed to touch the laptop, is from what I've been told.
Wow.
So he's that's a pretty big responsibility that he's had. So they've gotten to know him pretty well. And so we get to meet the drill instructors, but we also, there's a dinner that night.
Nice.
And we were able to purchase tickets, and if we purchase a ticket for our recruit, then he gets to join us for the dinners, which we've done. So we'll get to see James Wednesday night for dinner.
I'm dying.
I know.
Oh, you've got to send us pictures. You've got to send us pictures.
I can't wait for that hug.
Oh my gosh. And I'm not going to try to put you on the spot here, but I've known you my whole life. We've known it,
Right, literally, yeah.
You're not really much of a crier. Do you think you're going to cry? I cry at weddings.
Like a baby.
Yeah. How could you not? Not that you plan it. You're going to be real and true to yourself in the moment. But I think seeing him do that is probably one of the biggest moments of your motherhood.
Absolutely. I mean, even being at home, I've watched YouTube videos on boot camp, and I've watched, they have some series on Netflix. I've watched all the Marine stuff. I've been watching, YouTube videos of the Crucible and boo-hooing my eyes out. And not because I'm sad, but I'm so proud of what he's done and the sacrifice that he's made, just stepping up and taking this step for himself. And it's just so much pride and also missing him, and it's just all those emotions together.
Everything tangled up together.
I have a handkerchief packed already.
Good.
Jodi and I wish that we could actually be there to see that, in person. But I guess we'll do the next best thing. We'll stream it.
Yeah.
Yes, I will post the link. Yeah, I will.
Okay,
and it's funny because I've told everyone who will listen, that I'm going to the graduation, and I've told them who all is going.
Yeah.
My dad's coming, my sister, her family, and then his girlfriend is also coming, and they're like, "Oh, the girlfriend is going?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course." And they're like, "Oh, well, who's going to get the first hug?" And I'm like, "Oh, make no mistake, I will be getting the first hug."
Excellent.
If I have to throw elbows,
you'll be the first in.
I will get that.
She will. It's true. It's true.
Candace, are you wondering if there's anything of your little boy that they got rid of that you're hoping they didn't get rid of?
No, well, yes and no. I mean, I know that he's definitely taken a step to where he's more disciplined in himself, and he's even written in his letters that, anytime you go away from home, right, you gain more perspective on your past and growing up in life, and coming home is different and things like that. So, but even in his letters, I mean, he's even told me, he's like, "Don't worry, Mom, I'm still James," And even talking to him yesterday, he sounded more like himself. So I feel like he's just taken that next kind of adult step.
Yeah. He was talking about that on the call with us, about how it was a mental, he was making a comment to you, Jodi, that it was really just sort of a mental thing.
Yeah.
If there's any one, change. And I'm sure it gave him a lot of perspective on everything from gratitude towards just a reframe on his whole life. What was really special, I thought, in the beginning, your dad, Jodi's Uncle Larry, watching him, who is I won't say former Marine, because once a Marine, always a Marine.
Right.
But, he, very early in these conversations, I think it took his relationship with James to a different level, because he was able to express something that only somebody who's doing that themselves would understand. And he really took him under his wing to prepare him for going out there in the first place. And I can't imagine, I know we're not talking to your dad at the moment right now, but I know that he's got to feel that same way. The bond between he and James through this process, I think, has got to be incredibly tight. It's been sweet to watch.
Absolutely. I mean, it's his namesake. I named James after my dad.
Yep.
He's at the same place where my dad went through boot camp in 1969. His only grandson.
Yep.
Something that means so much to my dad and is such a source of pride for him his whole life.
Yep.
That his grandson is following in those footsteps. I mean, it's just incredible.
There's nothing else that is on his heart right now. There's nothing else going on in this world with that right now for Uncle Larry.
Absolutely.
Who is a special person to all of us.
So going back to the question before, so Wednesday we get to do the meet and greet, and then Thursday is a whole, what they call family day. So we kind of get to watch from the bleachers as they do some of their drills. But then that whole afternoon we get to spend with James. So we get to be on the base. There's a Marine History Museum that we can go to. There's an arcade we can go to. We can have pizza. So there's a lot on the base where James can kind of show us around and show us what he's been doing. And then Friday morning is the actual graduation. And then as soon as the graduation's done, he's ours. So we already have his plane ticket. He's sitting right next to me on the way home on the plane. So
oh my gosh.
So when does he report back for duty, though? How long will he be home, or do you even know?
Well, he has 10-day leave, and at graduation he'll have his orders. So he'll have his MOS. He says he's requested combat engineer, which I was like, so what exactly is that? And he said, well, basically I get to play with explosives. Okay.
Well, I guess you know that during his 10-day leave, Taylor and Phoebe are coming to see him. They have already blocked off time. You'll be hosting Tay and Phoebes. So,
absolutely. Oh yeah. He he wrote me several letters with, listing all the things he wants to do with the cousins while they're here.
Right.
So he's very excited about that. Yeah.
And going to San
So,
Diego with you for this, it's your dad, it's, his girlfriend, but it's also your sister Crystal and Philip and Addie. It's that.
Correct.
Oh, fantastic. That is going to mean the world to him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, one other thing I got from the moms in the Facebook group, I did get a chance to ask James if there's any recruits in his platoon that don't have family coming for whatever reason, they can't get off work, they couldn't afford the plane tickets,
sure,
to invite them to come with us for the family day activities, because we don't want any of the recruits. Those are his brothers now.
Right.
Yeah.
They're family. So we want to make sure that nobody's left out, and we want to make sure that
incredible point.
They can spend time with us if they don't have people that are going to be there for them. So
that is wonderful.
You're killing me. He's not a boy anymore. When I hung up the phone, I know he sounded like that, and he was joking with us about having 3 Red Bulls. He apologized. He said, "Look, I know I'm usually more chill, but I just had 3 Red Bulls because I could, and I'm excited.
Right.
It's Liberty Sunday," he said.
Yeah.
But I hung up with him, and I thought, he's not a boy anymore. He's a man.
Mm-hmm.
You feel that yet?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think some of that, like I said before, some of that is whatever you're doing the first time you leave home, right? You do gain some of that perspective, and you think about, and you interact with your peers, and you think about, your experiences growing up and things that you appreciate or things that you maybe took for granted. And, you just have a different perspective on life, right?
Yeah.
But especially the rigor, the discipline, the physical and the mental changes that he's gone through, in such a short period of time, I think have just kind of accelerated that process. So he's definitely not a little boy anymore, but he's still my boy.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because
changed.
one of the conversations I had with your dad a long time ago, he and I, every time we get to hang out, we end up having great conversation. I have a good relationship with him.
Yeah.
And he told me, he was talking to me about when he went into the Marine Corps, and he said, that it gave him confidence. A lot of people talk about discipline and a future and a path, but he said it gave me confidence. And I remember having a discussion with him about that. And I wonder if we'll see more confidence from James, which I never thought he lacked much.
Right.
So now, look out.
I think so. And I think, James has always been outgoing. He's definitely an extrovert, and he, doesn't have trouble making friends and things like that.
Right.
But I think there were certain areas in his life where he did kind of lack some confidence, and as far as maybe having some direction and not really knowing kind of where he wanted to go and where he wanted to go with those next steps in his adult life,
Sure.
or feeling confident that he could get out there and do it on his own, which I feel like he has gained that now. And so, I'm interested to visit with him when we come back. And he said he's got some plans. We have a mom-son day planned just for us when he comes back. So he's got a lot of plans for what we're going to do on that day. So I can't wait.
Is there anything that I can do for you this week? Like anything we can do?
Well, I know that, what I was going to say about the leave is that the recruiters, they do have a program to where you can sign up to be a recruiter assistant. So when he comes home for his 10-day leave, if they approve that, then he can get an extended leave from 2 weeks up to a month of additional leave time. Now, that all depends on his training as well. Whatever his MOS is, they might say, well, we want him back at Pendleton in 10 days, and that's it, right?
Sure.
But if they can delay it a little bit, and the recruiters need his help, like going to high schools and things like that, then he might have some additional leave. So if he gets additional leave, he may end up at your house.
He told us that.
Yeah.
He asked if he could bring his girlfriend to see us.
And we're
visit.
happy to do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We were like, absolutely.
Well, I think it's incredible that they offer the opportunity to be a recruit assistant right after coming out of boot camp.
No
because
kidding.
You've got the best perspective right then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do better, right?
I
Yeah.
never realized that
Absolutely.
those recruiters were that's what a lot of the recruiters are.
That's
That's
incredible.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Candace, can you tell me what MOS stands for?
Yes. Actually, I just Googled that the other day, and it's something of service. I'm trying to think of what it is, but it's basically whatever he's assigned to. So it's
Okay.
whatever his training is going to be in the Marines when he's there.
Okay.
So that's his order. So it's called a
MOS.
Military Occupational Specialty.
Oh, nice.
okay.
We got
All
it.
right.
Okay.
All right.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yay for Google.
we are just so delighted that you were able to share this, and do this with us, because I mean, how else would we know? I've never been so close to
Absolutely.
someone to go into the Marines and go in a recruit and come out a Marine, and we're so proud of him and for him. I told him that yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've known, because of my dad, and I've grown up around it and his entire office. I mean, there's everything in the Marine Corps you could possibly, have. And I've talked to my dad about it, but being immersed in it and being a mom going through this experience, I've learned so much about, the Marines history and what they're going through and really living through it. And, as a parent, it's definitely a unique perspective, but I couldn't be more proud of him.
So
I can't wait to get that first hug.
For any mom that is about to experience the same thing, then what would you recommend now that you've been through it?
I think definitely just be there to support them as much as possible. Just understand that they're, taking this step into independence, and just being there, in whatever ways you can, letters and more letters, pictures from home, things like that, but also reaching out to the support systems that are there. Like I said, I would not have gotten through this entire experience without, the mom group, the Facebook group, and the resources that they have on the base, that they have really made sure that, the families are included, and they realize how important that support is. And so, making sure, taking advantage of those resources and staying connected as much as possible.
Can you tell us the name of the Facebook group?
It is specific to MCRD San Diego.
Okay.
And it's, it's a private group, so I'm not exactly sure of the name because it's kind of long.
So it would be shared individually wherever somebody winds up being based, I'm guessing. Is that right? Is that how you found out about it?
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
I don't want to get you in trouble with the moms, with the Marine moms.
Oh, no, not at all. So it's Echo Company MCRD San Diego Family Support Group, and it's a private group. And they even say there's a ton of groups, but some of the public groups are not official groups, right? So you might not get correct information, or it might not be directly from the base there. So they do tell you, this is a private group. Make sure that this this is where you're getting your information from. But they have all kinds of support, and also just like funny memes, but they also send pictures. There's a photography company that takes pictures throughout the whole boot camp. And then I've already purchased the USB of all of those pictures, so James will be able to get those, but they post them also periodically. So I've been looking through to see if I can find him.
That's nice.
And there was one mom that even asked, like, when we get to graduation, how am I going to know which one is my kid? Because they all look the same. Which is kind of the point. I mean, they are, they're supposed to be uniform.
It is the point. I think you'll know the faces of the face, though.
Yeah.
I think you'll know.
Yeah, and the glasses. The glasses look
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, we're excited for you. Please send us tons of pictures, but not secondary later. Your day with James is your family day with James.
Another piece of advice that I got from the moms was to assign somebody that's not a mom to take some pictures.
Correct.
So I think Crystal or Phil is going to be my photographer because, like you said, I'm going to want to be in the moment. I'm not going to be, want to have my phone in my hand the whole time. So.
Good call.
That is a fantastic piece of advice.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right. Well, I love you.
I love you too. Thanks for calling.
Thank you for letting us know that he would be calling yesterday, because no way would I have taken a call on a Sunday that I didn't know was coming from California, a number I didn't know. I would have never taken that call.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yep. All right, guys. All right.
Well, thank you for letting us share this with everybody too.
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Missed any part of the show? Get it all on the Murphy, Sam, and Jodi podcast.